Ready to go. So welcome. My name is Deneen. I'm the lead for the Center of Excellence for Health. We're super excited to be on day 4 of Long-Term Care Week. And today we have a very special guest. Jackie Parks is here, and she is a community site manager at Thomas Hall in Fredericton. She offers her knowledge and experience with you during the speaking series, working as a registered nurse in long-term care with Shannix. Please listen as she shares her stories about what excitement happens within her work and the meaningful connections you will make while working at a long-term care facility. Jackie's leadership role provides an exciting career, which includes building lasting relationships with staff and residents, managing the day-to-day happenings at Thomas Hall, and using the skill set she learned in school to ensure exceptional care is provided to our seniors. So, without further ado, let's wave at Mr. Battis's class and let's see the students. Awesome. Welcome, you guys. You're in for a treat. All right. Without further ado, I'm handing it over to our very special guest, Jackie Parks.
Hi, everyone. So I'll just jump right in. My name's Jackie. I am actually from Miramichi, New Brunswick originally. Now living in Hanwell, New Brunswick. I graduated from UNB with a Bachelor in Science in Nursing in 2011. From there, I went to Ontario and I worked as a registered nurse on a medical surgical unit. I worked there for about 2 years full time, and then I took a journey down to Emerge and Emerge Care. So that's kind of been my background. When we decided to move back to New Brunswick in July of 21, I started at Thomas Hall. I always had a passion for the elderly, and I said, why not? Let's give it a go. So I started as a staff nurse, and then eventually got my position as a community site manager in April of last year. So growing up, I've always had an interest in helping others. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. I always had, I always wanted to help others. So whether that being my two options in high school were teacher and nurse. I knew I wanted to be around people, and to help and grow minds and all the things. So my sister was actually in nursing at the time, so she kind of convinced me to go into nursing. So I took the leap to nursing, especially since it's only a 4-year program and you come out making fairly good money, picking whatever kind of job you want to work as. My sister kind of helped me. I have down here, she's also a nurse, and she was like my role model basically. To this day, I still message her for advice and support. Yeah, so that's the first slide. If you want to move on to the next one. All right. I'm just going to exit this a second. So personal skills. So this is a bit more about me. What I love to do. I love being outdoors. I have 2 small children, so we like to try and travel and do fun things with them. They are my greatest achievement, is my family, my career, and my work for my residents. So I really have a lot of care. I don't know. I feel very compassionate towards my residents. They feel like my grandparents, all of them. And yeah, so my motto to live by is just go with the flow. I'm so much like, you can't stress about the little things. Take it as it comes, work through things, and keep moving on. Next slide, please. So my career portfolio. So like I said, in 2011, I started as a med surg at the Southampton, Ontario. I worked in a very small rural hospital. We had a 16-bed unit. So we seen everything from, surgical candidates, people who had their hips done. We had palliative patients. We had medical patients. We had patients with heart monitors. It was very rural and small, so we seen a little bit of everything. We worked with the physio closely. We didn't really have an OT. We did all of our own blood work, and it was pretty good. We really gotta look at everything. In 2013, I took the step to go down to emergency, again in the same hospital, very small, eight bed emergency room. We had 2 registered staff and 1 doctor on. That's how small it was. In Southampton, it was a tourist attraction in the summer, so a lot of people had cottages and lots of rental properties. So Our summers were very busy in Emerge. So when we moved back to New Brunswick in 2021, I took a job on the floor, like I said, a staff nurse, and then as a charge nurse at Thomas Hall. So yeah, the best things about working as my current role is the love of helping others. I am a big advocate for my residents. A lot of them have dementia, Alzheimer's, other like strokes, things like that. Sometimes they can't fend for themselves. Sometimes they can't advocate for themselves. So I'm a big part of that. They can come to me, let me know how they're feeling. Families can come to me, let me know how they're feeling. I can work closely with the doctors and try and give them the best life at the end of their lives. Making our residents smile is like brings me so much joy. When you have these grumpy little Alzheimer's men and they're looking at you and they're grumpy and you make them smile, it's like the best feeling in the world. Long-term care, people think long-term care, oh, it's, long-term care, you don't do anything, but actually it's a very, very, very busy, it's a very busy spot. You use tons of different skills in long-term care. You don't just do basic care. We do wound care, we do blood work, we do assessment. We collaborate with the doctors. We go through all their medications, make sure they're on everything properly. We do vitals. We do all these different kinds of assessments that you wouldn't think maybe nursing homes do. We do a lot of ear flushing, stuff like that. If we can do it, we do it at the home instead of sending these people to Emerge or to the hospital or out of their homes. No day is ever the same. Every day at Thomas Hall is different. I have set tasks throughout the day, but when I walk in, you never know what's going to come at you, whether it's a family, whether it's a resident, whether it's staff, which is nice. I like it. I'm the go with the flow, right? You can kind of come in and have your mind set and what you have, you have your list for the day, but then anyways, it just keeps going and going and going. So yeah, as skills, we collaborate with a large part of the interdisciplinary team. So we have a restorative who takes care of like wheelchairs and lifts and transfers and that kind of a thing. We have recreation who's in charge of all like the activities, keeping the residents busy. And then we have our health services manager who helps kind of run the flow of things. And then we have a dietitian that we work with closely. So we have a big team. We coordinate weekly and make sure the needs are met by the residents. You build wonderful relationships amongst the team, not just the interdisciplinary team, but all your staff. I think we have about 132 staff members at Thomas Hall. So, a lot of your staff, they become friends and family. You see them on a daily basis. You spend a lot of time with these people. So they become like your best friends. And I really love that. I love working with your friends. It's so much fun coming to a job where you're like, hey, Bestie, let's go to work, or hey, bestie, can you come help me, and then career paths. Once you achieve your nursing degree, you can work in various healthcare environments. Long-term care offers many avenues, depending on your preferences and passions. So explore your options and go for it, even if you're not sure. Next slide, please. So for training and education that I need to kind of obtain to work at long-term care, I require my CPR yearly. So that's an in-depth kind of training with heart and stroke, and we sit down and do CPR every year. We don't have a lot of residents that would require CPR, but it's still very important to have. We have a lot of guests and we have a lot of families that are coming in. So it's a really big skill to have. We also have e-learnings that we are supposed to do yearly. They're anything from like wound care to basic hygiene, hand hygiene, stuff like that. We do like WMIS, and it's just kind of an update so that you kind of keep those fresh in your mind. Whenever my employer offers education training or even opportunities like this, I jump and I join and I put my name out there. I love connecting and meeting new people. So this is a way to kind of put my name out there and let people know that I'm interested and I want to learn and I want to do as much as I can. Working as an RN, and no matter where you work in New Brunswick, you need to have your NANB license. So that's a yearly license that we pay for. And with that, we have to do continuing competency requirements. So every year they make you do a little quiz. It's not hard. And then you get your license for the year. Since working at Thomas Hall, I've had many opportunities to expand my knowledge. So I did in-depth training with wound care with one of the big doctors here from the hospital at the deck. And with Horizon, I did some immunizations training. I'm responsible of all the immunizations in our building for 72 residents. So that's all the COVID and any of like the influenza vaccines. So our falls are usually really busy. And then I recently just joined the RN Council Committee. So this is a new committee within Shanix that the RNs meet once every 2 months and kind of get together and voice our opinions and our concerns, and things can get addressed from a higher aspect. So that's a new one that I just joined, and I've really enjoying that. Another new one that I just did was my GPA, so gentle persuasion approach. So this is about how working with Alzheimer's patients or patients with dementia mostly, and how to act with them, how to learn about them, how to gently persuade them to do things. So you have responsive behaviors by some of them. You have to kind of understand why are these responsive behaviors and how we can revert them and get them going or doing what we want them to do, or simply just letting them do what they want to do. So that's a new one that I just did, and I'm actually a trainer. So I'll be training all of our staff at Thomas Hall. So that was a really big opportunity. And in the fall, I completed my Yellow Belt Lean Six Sigma training. So that's a leadership course. And I plan on heading over and doing my Green Belt next. So that's a little bit about my training. And of course, obviously, I graduated from UNB, which in 2011. Next, please. A day in the life. Well, I've already kind of touched base on this. I typically work from 7 to 3, but as a manager, I can kind of change that around a bit. So say if I have an appointment or, I do have 2 small children. So if things are going on, I need to change it to 8 to 4. That's usually okay with my boss. And that's kind of a nice thing. And I work Monday to Friday. As a manager, I'm self-directed. So like I said, I make my list for the day, but sometimes that list doesn't get done, or sometimes I have to move things around. I usually literally will start with a list and figure out what's most important, and I just start tackling the day. I usually start with my emails because I usually have, multiple emails waiting for me every morning when I walk in. And I check in with the staff, make sure we're fully staffed, make sure there's no issues with any residents. Sometimes someone had a fall through the night and they need someone to help, or, someone took a turn for the worse over the night and they need some extra hands. So I do jump in. I jump in a lot. Sometimes we have no LPN or no RN, so I have to jump in and help with medications. Wounds. So I do have a course on wound care. So a lot of the RNs and LPNs look at me and say, we have this new wound. I really don't know what to do. Can you come help me? So we can kind of work as a team that way and put the right dressing on it and get things healed up. We also do blood work, not daily, but just depending on what the doctor orders. There are some people that get blood work monthly. Just to monitor levels and basic care. So I get calls all the time from my PSW CCAs, and they say, "Hey, Jackie, are you busy? Can you come help me?" So I can go in and help with lifts. I can help, shower someone if I have time. Just jump in, do it all. Throughout the week, I have various duties. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, there's different meetings. I do a bunch of ordering and inventory on Tuesdays. Once a month I do we have a gentleman that's on dialysis, so I do some dialysis ordering. But again, every day looks different. I've been in this role since April, and I've never had one day look the same. So if you like change and you like just going with the flow like I do, it's definitely an amazing career and lots of opportunities. All right, next slide, please. So career advice. My big thing is find your passion and go for it. Sure, I love nursing at the medical, surgical, and emergency. I really did enjoy the fast pace and the turnaround and stuff. But I find the last year I've had the most fun with the elderly. I have a very big passion for them. I help take care of my grandparents at their end of their lives, and it's something that I really enjoy. So I really do like my job. I mean, every day you're not going to have a great day. You might have some bad days here and there, but for the most part, when I see those residents smile, that makes my day. Explore your options and never pass up new opportunities. Like I said, every time, even if you're working in a job right now and your manager says, "Hey, do you want to try something new?" or "Can you help with a supervisor course?" or whatever, jump in, say yes. the more opportunities you get, it's great for your resume. Um, it's just great to get your name out there and let people know that you're willing to help out, you're willing to do things. And yeah, you'll just go farther. You will. Get involved in various organizations and committees. I know a lot of you guys are in high school, so like get involved. Like I said, these things are good for your resume. And even if there's no committees or organizations that you want, maybe create something. Even if it's just as simple as, a book club or something. But do it. It's great. Get involved. There's so many different types of nursing. I'll go jump back into nursing, but nursing is not just one field. We have PSWs, which I think PSW's course is a year or 6 months now. It's a basic care course. You learn basic care and a few other things, and you can work with residents right out of there. We have a lot of girls that start as PSWs. They work and then they go and do their LPN. So LPN is a 2-year course. And then they come and go back and do their RN, which is another 2 years. They can do the bridging course. So there's not just RNs. We're not just the only nurses. We have PSWs, we have LPNs, and we have RNs. And we also have, yeah, all of those. So just get involved. There's different opportunities. If you don't want to go to school for long, you can start at PSW, and if it's like, oh, I actually really enjoy this, you can move on. And choose what's fitting for you. You can work anywhere as a nurse. You can work in the hospital. You can work in home care. You can work at long-term care. You can work. There's so many opportunities. You can work on a cruise ship. You can travel. There's so many opportunities. And again, the more education you get, the more opportunities you will have. So, there's occupational health nursing, there's diabetic nursing, there's tons and tons and tons of different avenues for nursing. It can be a difficult profession at times. With COVID hitting, it was really hard on a lot of nurses out there. But when you know that you've helped someone and you get that reassurance from someone, it is the best feeling in the world. Whether it's just helping them with a simple wound dressing, if it's, just giving them the time to sit down and talk with them, or even if it's CPR and you saved someone's life or saved a family member's life, it's very, very rewarding. Next slide. I think that might be it. That's it. You guys have any questions or anything?
Jackie, that was awesome. And you can totally hear and see how passionate you are about your job. And that was a very quick, I guess, presentation of all the beautiful things that you've done. My goodness, because the list went on and on and on. But certainly, I grew up with my mother a nurse and my sister's a nurse and my brother's in medical school. So I've heard about all of these things that you talk about, but it's so lovely for you to share with the students that when you think about nursing, it's not just one pocket, and there's you are an example of what you can do and all the different avenues that you can go down. And what's so lovely is that with nursing and PSWs, LPN, there's really a tier process.
Yes.
And I know as an administrator, when I was working with my students and they were trying to choose careers, I always used to break that down for them, because some students, and Mr. Batta's class, some of you folks probably are listening and think, oh my gosh, I just can't wait to graduate from high school and then I'm done with school. I'll never have to go to a classroom again. Well, you may just want to do a 6-month education placement somewhere, and then you're able to get a job. Or maybe you want to go a little bit further and go into a year program or a 2-year program. And you can chunk it. You don't have to do it all at once. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'm just going to ask you one question.
Sure.
And if you could tell us maybe one day that probably was the best day that you can think of when you were nursing, or an example. And I know that it's hard to kind of think about that because there's probably a lot of examples, but is there any story that really speaks to the connection that you have with the residents and their families?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I have probably multiple, even just basic care. I find the most rewarding days for me is literally when I can put a smile on their faces, because they're in a home, they're not in their homes. We have a new resident who is fully capable, has their mind, but just can't be at home anymore. And she's a very, very smart lady. And, every time I see her and I just do something simple for her, like She's like, "Hey, Jackie, can you help me with my socks?" You know what I mean? And she's like, "Oh, Jackie, you're the best. Thank you so much." So just like those little tiny things that just make their world a little bit easier. I don't know if I have a specific day. It happens quite a bit. So like I said, a lot of my days, as long as I get someone happy one day, once a day, I'm happy. Whether that's even my staff too, right? So, because I do kind of manage them a bit too. So
Excellent. Thank you. I'll
yeah.
open up the floor to Mr. Battis's class. Is there anybody there that would like to ask a question to Jackie? She certainly is very open and willing to answer any questions. And there's really no question that's something I hate when students used to say, "Oh, it's a dumb question." Somebody else is
No.
thinking it for sure. So I'll just open the floor for a minute.
Hi, yeah, so I'm gonna ask a question on their behalf.
Sure.
To you. You're in Miramichi right now? Is that where
No,
you're?
I'm actually in Hanwell,
Oh,
New
Hanwell,
Brunswick.
sorry.
Yeah.
Fredericton. Yeah, okay. Let's say, hypothetically here, the students graduate from nursing right now from New
Mhm.
Brunswick. Are they really going to be able to go and get a job really quickly? We often hear that the students get jobs and they, oh, I can't find, I'm only doing a small
No.
contract. I can't, is it changed now?
It's a big 180. Like when I graduated, you couldn't get a lot of part-time, even full-time jobs. You had to start casual and work your way up. But right now you can walk into wherever you want basically on a full-time permanent position. There's a big demand for nurses right now in New Brunswick. So lots and lots of opportunities. And I feel like that'll stay that way for a while.
Okay, great. That's
Yeah.
encouraging. Yeah,
I'll just add a little bit to that, Mr. Battis.
sure.
Part of my role is really educating students about career pathways in health and social care, and that's part of the reason why I'm in this role is for recruitment. And as I'm speaking to some of my partners, Department of Health, Department of Social Development, that is the constant conversation of how do we recruit. So if this is a field that your students want to get into, I certainly can't make guarantees, and I'm not a genie in a bottle, but I certainly can tell you that of what I'm seeing in the labor market on my end, and I'm sure Jackie's seeing it firsthand on the floor, there are a ton of opportunities. And this is an example where if one of your students is really thinking about this career, they can reach out to me and I can connect them to Jackie. And, what's great about this type of career is that if you want to start volunteering in one of the homes or having that opportunity to go visit a home, that's really where you
Yeah.
get to see, is this something that I want to do? I'm not quite sure. And a school is a good time to do this, is to figure out exactly what you want to do, because the last thing you want to do is spend 4 years in a program where at the end of it, one, you don't have a job, and two, you don't even know if you really want something in that area. So
Mhm.
getting out into these areas, getting out into the long-term care homes, getting out into the hospitals, and really having a hands-on experience is something that our school system is trying to support. So certainly if this is something one of your students is excited about, please feel free to reach out, and then I get to direct them to the beautiful experts, because I'm not the expert, but I do like to support the folks that are working so hard in long-term care homes.
That's great. Thanks. Yeah, we'll probably take you up on that for sure. Yeah,
Not a
anything to help
problem.
them.
That's why I'm here.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I don't know if anybody else has questions, but we'll stay on the line just for a minute. But I do want to say thank you so much to Jackie for taking time out of her very busy day. And I know her little one's homesick today, so you never know what's going to happen.
Never know.
But of course, as a professional, she pulled it all together and did a beautiful presentation. So thank you so much from the Center of Excellence for Health. And thank you to Mr. Battis's class for being here. And I'm really excited that this is going to be a recording. It'll be posted. And so if anybody else is listening in New Brunswick, I'm really excited that you got to hear about Jackie's career pathway and why she chose her profession. So have a beautiful day. Thank you so much from the Center of Excellence for Health. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye,
No
Denise.
problem.